How are you?
Hi, everyone. Great to see everyone here. It's a beautiful day out there, although I hear it might rain later. But anyway, it's good to see you. We're excited to be back. And we've really been working behind the scenes, getting a lot of things done for you. But first of all, I'd like us to please stand, and Kathleen will say the pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
May we take a moment of silence for our loved ones and people who have served our country and our town.
Thank you. Just as a reminder to everyone, when we do have a speaker up here, if you have a question, the speaker hopefully will remember to repeat the question, because our people at home will not hear it from the audience. We have to speak it into the microphone. So, Kathleen, could you introduce? Oh,
We'll have the introduction of our members.
I'm sorry.
Noreen Farrell?
Rosemary Panio,
Jenny Minton?
Serafina Mastro,
Maria Fama.
Deborah Marks, Liaison to Assemblyman Slater's office.
Joe Falcone, Recreation Commission Liaison.
Diana Quast, Town Clerk.
Thank you. This morning, we start off with Ed Latcherman, our town supervisor. He'll give us an update and take questions from the audience.
I didn't see him come in.
Perfect time.
Good afternoon, everyone. Hi,
good
Carol.
afternoon.
Good afternoon, Ed.
So really update-wise, just a couple things going on around town. Yesterday, we actually had our Holocaust Remembrance event here in Town Hall. I see a couple of people that were here for it. You can catch that on our municipal channel, which is 20 on Cablevision and 33, I believe, on Verizon. It was very interesting. We had a survivor who was a hidden child, and he came. He was in Amsterdam. His family moved to Israel after they got through the Holocaust. Then they moved to the States. A very interesting story. So Joe Gosler, and you could see it online, and you could also, he has an online website as well. We have a few big events coming up. Most notably, Fam Jam is coming up on the 9th of May. That's the same day also as the Yorktown Garden Club does their big plant sale right on Mother's Day weekend. The weekend before, May 2nd, we have a celebration for the Battle of Pines Bridge, which was a Revolutionary War battle that was fought. The Rhode Island 1st Regiment was involved in that. They were guarding what was the Pines Bridge down on what is now Route 100. The bridge is covered now since they filled in the lake down there, the reservoir, so you really can't see it, but there was a marker down there, and we have a monument in the middle of town over by Railroad Park. In that battle, it very notably was the first integrated regiment. There were, we'll call them Americans, but English fighting for America. There were African Americans, and there were American Indians, all integrated into the same unit. So it's a very historic unit, the Rhode Island 1st. They were actually ambushed by the British down in Pines Bridge. The fight came up into Croton Heights, and they'll be reenacting one of the battles at the Railroad Park by the monument on May 2nd. We'll also be introducing our Revolutionary War Memorial that day, which will be right back behind Town Hall at 10 a.m. We'll be unveiling at the Veterans Memorial Circle. And later on that day, there will also be, by the Pines Bridge Monument, a plaque dedicated by the Daughters of the American Revolution, which are women who could trace their history back to people who fought in the Revolution. So some big things coming up for Revolutionary War 250. And if you look online, there's a page dedicated to the events that'll be coming up. What else do we have for you? We spoke about Fam Jam, the plant sale, Revolutionary War 250. We'll keep that for now, and I think we'll get into some more stuff in May. But please keep an eye on the calendar, because we are putting that stuff up on the website, yorktownnewyork.gov. And I believe we also probably have some things at the museum this year too, Diana? Celebrating
We have
250?
several things coming up, yeah. We'll be doing, we have an exhibit right now, which is from Women's History,
Diana, could you pull the mic?
which is Women's History Month. That does showcase Town Clerk Alice Roker. And we also have a exhibit for the Old Putt, which is a train station, which obviously goes back in time, and it's pretty cool.
And if you don't know where the museum is, it's on the 3rd floor of the Albert A. Capellini Community and Cultural Center, or as my wife knows it, the old 6th grade school, if you've been around a while. Or if you're in between that, the YCC. Carol actually went to 6th grade there, so.
I went to 6th grade.
I think you've said more than she wants to hear.
That's okay. At least you didn't go to grade school there like Roger Thompson. So,
Or Louis Mastro went there too.
Louis Matt, there you go. So we have that. I have been getting some questions about the senior housing going up, and especially the new project of the old contractors registry, where they're taking down the 2 buildings and building in the footprint. Those will be rental units for seniors. I'm trying to get some information from them on where the waiting list is. My contact for that company now lives in Israel, so I'm trying to give them a little bit of break and not call in the middle of the night. But I will reach out to Mike and try to get some answers. But if anyone's interested in trying to get on the list there, you can contact Cindy Smith in my office, and she should be able to help you out, or at least get your name, and we'll get those over to the people that are doing the project. But they are still a little ways away, of course. And then I'll see if anyone has any questions.
Wow.
No one?
No
You
questions.
Lucked out today.
I guess so. Well, I will point out, we are in a little bit of heat right now. We're going to be getting cold again. I know it's tricky time with air conditioning. They did have a problem at Jefferson Village. It was limited to their clubhouse, but it turned out the problem was within their mechanicals. But I had told them there, and I will put it out here as well, especially when you're having issues, Con Ed, NYSEG, any of your electric companies, if you don't have power, don't have gas, please reach out to my office, or if you go online, my cell number is listed online. Those are important issues, especially as it gets hot. We want to make sure we have air conditioning. I know I don't want to be sitting in a hot house. I'm sure most of us don't. So please feel free to reach out if you're having issues like that. That's what your government's here to help move forward. If you call Con Edison on a weekend or NYSEG, you're not going to get anyone helpful, but I have some really good contacts that could go through there. So please feel free, reach out, and we really want everyone to be safe. And if you are experiencing issues where maybe you don't have your air conditioning on, we have great places you could go. The Jefferson Valley Mall, hang out for the day, could meet some friends. We also have the library, the John C. Hart Memorial Library, which is open on the weekends as well. And I'll end with one other thing. Are there any chess players here? Or if you know any. There's a little coffee shop called Libre, because they also do books, over in town, right across the street from 7-Eleven. In May, they will be holding a chess tournament,
Wow,
and
that's
with
great.
prizes and trophies, and I think some gift certificates that they'll be giving away. We'll be posting it online, but if you know any chess players, any kids in the schools especially, I know we have chess clubs, and we'll be pushing that out to the superintendents. But what a great way to bring some mind activities for our kids and get them thinking. All right. But I wish everyone a really great weekend, and hopefully we get this beautiful weather just keeps coming on, and we will see you all soon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Before Kathleen introduces our next speaker, I just want to remind everybody, Ed did mention the library. Unfortunately, they did give me some flyers, but they didn't give me enough for us to put them in the back. But this is all published in our newspaper. There are a lot of things going on at the library that can keep us busy, and especially with the warm weather coming, there's so many things going on at the library that you could go there and enjoy a nice, cool place and also join one of their activities. Next month, I hope to have enough to pass out. I'm sorry that I don't have enough to pass out today. So Kathleen, if you can introduce our next speaker, thank you.
Yes, a little change to the agenda. Wendy McNamara, who I hope you remember, is with Hudson Valley and New York Langone Hospital over in Cortland Manor, is going to introduce our next speaker, Amy Beth Whistle. So please. Welcome her back.
Hi, I've missed everyone. Thank you so much, Kathleen. And many thanks to Jenny, Noreen, Rosemary, and the entire board for inviting us to come and speak today. I'm Wendy McNamara, Community Affairs Coordinator, New York Presbyterian Hudson Valley Hospital. New York Presbyterian Hudson Valley Hospital is your neighborhood hospital, serving the heart of the Hudson Valley community with specialties in cardiology, cancer care, digestive health, orthopedics, obstetrics, gynecology, gastroenterology, and pulmonology.
Is that all? That's all?
That's all.
There's more, but that's just a little snapshot. It is my pleasure to introduce our guest speaker today, who is appearing as part of New York Presbyterian's ongoing community partnership with Sharp Again, a nonprofit organization dedicated to preventing and treating cognitive decline through a multi-therapeutic, lifestyle-based approach. Amy Beth Whistle, known as AB, is a professional health supportive chef, board-certified health coach, and functional nutritionist who blends culinary expertise with functional medicine. She helps clients move beyond feeling fine to feeling vibrant, with a special focus on brain health and prevention. She trained at the National Gourmet Institute in Chelsea, New York, and the Institute for Integrative Nutrition and School of Applied Functional Medicine. AB is especially passionate about brain health and prevention, with a personal connection to early onset Alzheimer's in her family, a mission that led her to join Sharp Again. Thanks so much, and welcome, AB.
Thank you. Could everyone please turn their cell phones off so there won't be any interruptions? Thank you.
Okay. Just give me 1 second. I'm going to turn on a timer so we stay on track. Okay. So, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Wendy, for the warm welcome, and for New York Presbyterian for having me here today. As Wendy was saying, at Sharp Again, it is our mission to educate and empower people to take charge of their cognitive health. And we do this in many ways, through in-person presentations like this, through webinars, articles, resources. We have a YouTube channel and a website that is filled with a lot of really great actionable information. So I would strongly encourage you to check it out if you are inclined. So on that note, we are going to talk today a little bit about reducing stress and, okay. I think this might be the second iteration. Okay, that's all right. So aging affects our sleep. I'm sure that you may have seen this already. Our need for sleep does not change, but our ability to sleep does. Researchers estimate that about half of those who are 65 or older experience some sort of frequent sleep problem. And some studies show upwards of 70% of the elderly population suffer from at least one sleep-related disorder. So although older people tend to go to bed earlier, the more they report more difficulty falling asleep, staying asleep, and then of course more tiredness during the day. So even worse, the vital restorative sleep that we get in the NREM state, which clears out the dead cells and the cellular debris of the day, this can stop or be incredibly blunted as the aging process goes on. Also, brain atrophy can occur, and that can hamper neuroplasticity, which is our ability to make new neural connections. And for many years, the theory was that as we were aging, we didn't make these connections any longer, but they are showing that with the proper support, our brains can continue to make these connections and to strengthen and support our brains. So this happens particularly in the hippocampus, which is the area of the brain that controls learning and memory, and it's responsible for initiating sleep. So that's why it's so important. Also, creeping circadian rhythm. That happens when it's our brain's perception of light and dark, of sleep and awake state. And these cycles are regulated by melatonin. So the levels decline gradually over time. Yay, another bonus of aging. So this can contribute to sleep fragmentation, which I don't know about you, but I've already experiencing that in my mid-50s, so I get it. Octogenarians have less than 70 to 80% sleep efficiency, meaning during that 8 hours of attempted sleep, you might be awake for 2 hours or more, trying to get back to sleep, trying to get to sleep. And in well-controlled studies, lower sleep efficiency translates to less energy, more likely to suffer from depression, higher mortality risk, lower cognitive function, all the good stuff. Okay, so let's see. We're going to stay on this. I'll prompt you for the next slide. There are two main ways that your sleep supports your memory. First, it gives the brain a chance to do a deep clean. I referred earlier to the REM cycle, and that's where we have sort of a washing machine or a sanitation crew, if you will, that comes in and cleans up the brain while we're sleeping. It's called the glymphatic system. Proteins that are linked to Alzheimer's, beta and tau, are cleared away, and they're more present in people who they would be more present or more likely in people who struggle with sleep. Sleep is one of the most important things that we can do for our brain health. Okay. So we can, let's see. Can you tell me the slide number? Okay, so you can advance and then advance again, please. And one more time. There we go. So how do we get better sleep? What can we do? You can bring up all of the elements. I'm so sorry. I thought I sent a presentation where they would all appear at once, but I think we might have gotten our copies mixed up. So what can we do? We can be mindful of what we eat or drink. I'm going to expand upon these just a little bit to give you an idea of what I mean. Caffeine after 2 p.m. That's a no-no. It has a half-life. Some people are more sensitive, some are less, but that rebound effect from caffeine 8 hours later can keep you awake and interrupt getting deep, restful sleep. You want to limit sugar in all of its forms because the spikes and dips from sugar can leave the body feeling more wired and tired, and it leads to less steady energy and also less stable sleep. Your blood sugar can peak and dip while you're sleeping as well. So you want to make sure that the body is using all of its resources for that glymphatic system while you're sleeping and not trying to rescue you from a blood sugar crash. You want to limit alcohol. Everybody, I think we know this. Sometimes alcohol will make you sleepy, but again, similar to caffeine, alcohol has a rebound effect. So often you'll wind up waking up a few hours later, struggling to get back to sleep. The quality of your sleep is not quite the same. And you might notice a bit of brain fog the next day. And that's possible for some people even just from one glass of alcohol. I should point out that alcohol has been classified as a carcinogen. And so the previous guidance that said a glass of red wine every day is good for you is not really true. You would get more benefit out of taking resveratrol than you necessarily would out of red wine. You can do with this information what you will. I'm not telling you to abstain completely. We also have to moderate because it's life, right? So this one's really important. Don't eat 3 hours before you go to bed. And I think that's because we want to use all of the resources. We don't want to divert our resources to digestion when they should be focusing on our brain. And also when our blood sugar spikes later into the evening, we send insulin in to unlock the cell and put the sugar in it. But we actually need insulin for brain repair as well. So if insulin is tied up doing this other job, it doesn't have time to do the clearing that we talked about, which is really important.
Time for a quick question?
Sure.
Staying on this topic, what if you're on a medication that you have to take right before bed that says you have to eat something with it? Are there foods you'd suggest would be less distracting or take away from your sleep if you have to do that?
I think that's an excellent question. I would encourage people to have a small snack that is...
Question, please. Thank you.
That's right. So if you have a medication that you take in the evening and you are required to take it with some food, I would encourage you to do that with just a bit of protein, maybe a bit of apple with nut butter, or you could have a handful of mixed nuts, or maybe a little bit of cheese and some fruit. Something that will tie you over, that'll give you steady blood sugar. So we don't want to just eat like a simple carbohydrate or a grain or something sugar-based. That's not going to be beneficial. But a small protein-based snack, I think, would make the most sense. Excellent question. Thank you. Let's see. Hydration. I want to point this out. True hydration is a consistent effort throughout the day. If you are sipping water throughout the day, your body is able to take it up on a cellular level. If 3 times a day you realize you're thirsty and throw back 16 to 32 ounces of water, your body's not really going to be able to take it all up at once. And so your hydration is going to be hampered. Okay, so move the body. We know this. People have told us this. We know why. But in terms of the brain, we want to keep our circulation going. It increases blood flow. It regulates our stress hormones and improves sleep quality, as well as supporting our brain health. You want to make sure that you're getting aerobic as well as strength training exercise in. The aerobic, as I said, that's going to increase your blood flow. The strength training piece is really helpful for metabolic health. And then ladies, I would encourage you not to shy away from heavy weights. The conventional wisdom is many repetitions of lower volume weights, and that may be beneficial, but there are a lot of studies that have come out in the last couple of years that show a bit of a progressive overload, really taxing it. As long as you can do the movement in a safe way, lifting a little bit heavier actually will create brain-derived neurotrophic factor, which is beneficial to the brain, and you can make your own. So let's see, yoga, Tai Chi, Qigong, these all have elements of meditation, of breath work, and of activity. So they're really beneficial on a number of levels. They kind of hit the marks at multiple times. Walking in sunlight, obviously great to get some exposure to sun. I would encourage you to do that as early in the day as you possibly can, because of course that will regulate your circadian rhythm. If you can't get outside early in the day, maybe it's weather related, maybe it's mobility related, find a spot in your house and channel a cat. Find a nice beam of sunlight, and then maybe that's where you have your morning coffee or tea, and you just sit there and take it in, and that can be a great way to keep your circadian rhythm in check. Then the last one, reduce stress. We're going to obviously touch more on that in the second half of the presentation, but generally speaking, meditation where you quiet the mind, even just for a few minutes every day, I know some people struggle with it a little bit, but if you are not judgmental of yourself and you have low expectations, I think that's the key. Breath practice. If you've ever heard of box breathing, where you inhale on a count of 4, hold for a count of 4, exhale for a count of 4, and then hold for a count of 4 before repeating the cycle. Doing that for just a couple of minutes is really great for regulating your nervous system. And of course, taking regular breaks. Sometimes we get very hyper-focused and we have tunnel vision on something that we're doing, and it can allow stress to build up without us even realizing it. So just stopping to take a break, stretch. It's also great to get up and move, get some of our blood flow into the big muscles of our body so that it pulls blood sugar out of your blood system, or sorry, out of your bloodstream rather. And a gratitude practice. We can't spend time ruminating and feeling sad if we're focused on what's going well, what we do have, how things are working for us. And so I think it's a great practice, just even once a day, maybe before a meal, maybe before you go to sleep. If you're reviewing the day, having an opportunity to think about what you're grateful for.
Mm-hmm. We have a hand
Question?
I've been reading articles where they're mentioning isometric exercise. That's supposed to be very good also for your circulatory system and for your heart. Do you know anything about that?
I can't speak specifically to the benefit of isometric exercise for the brain. This question was related to whether isometric exercise can be beneficial. Absolutely, I think because it involves using different muscle groups and anytime you do that, it sort of challenges the brain a little bit. But I'd be happy to get you more information about it if you'd like. Okay, great.
We have a hand over here.
Hi,
Oh,
can you
sure.
explain what isometric exercise is?
Actually, I can't.
No, I mean, is it moving every parts of your body, or?
So,
what is it?
isometric exercise, I'm not actually a personal trainer, so I can't speak. I mean, I certainly could Google it right here for you,
No,
but it would be disingenuous. And so, if, okay, so then,
Certain muscle groups, just one like at a time.
I
so
see.
actually, I'm sorry, thank you, that's really helpful. We
Yes,
have
it
someone
is.
in the audience saying isometric exercise is when you hold the position. Thank you for the reminder.
Yes.
Essentially, that allows stress to build up, and I would think that it would tax and challenge the muscle more. So I'm not sure specifically about brain health, but I would think that it would improve circulation, and I can absolutely confirm that for you. So, oh, I'm a big fan of wall sits and planks. I'm not 100%, like, I think overall they absolutely are going to have a physical benefit. What I want to check into is whether or not they promote BDNF, which I was saying is brain-derived nootropic factor, and that is something that we create in the body through exercise that is beneficial to the brain. Okay, we good? All right, so we want to, the goal here for creating a healthy sleep environment is to create a bedroom that calms your brain and it tells your brain it is safe to power down, to breathe well, and to sleep deeply. So some of the ways we can do this, we want to lower the temperature in your bedroom to at least 68. This brings our core temperature down. That's going to help you to fall asleep and stay asleep. In addition, reducing noise. You don't want to pull the brain out of the state that it's in, so we want to have maybe a sound machine or a fan, soothing music maybe. This can buffer those sudden noises that bring us out of the sleep state and wake the brain up. Keeping your room dark, which using maybe blackout drapes, or also one tip I have is starting to dim the lights maybe right after dinner so that you're signaling to your brain we're starting to gear into the sleep cycle. So we're not waiting until right before bedtime to bring down all the lights in the house, bring down the blue light on all of our screens. That, again, don't take your electronics into the bedroom if you can avoid it. Don't scroll on your phone. It's probably the worst thing you can do before bedtime. If you read from a tablet, then you could go get some blue light blocking glasses. Those, if you take that blue light out, then you're not going to block the melatonin from coursing into the body and signaling that it's time to go to sleep. So that's one way. Again, if you like to read and it's on electronics, grab those types of glasses. Wireless connections, some people are very sensitive to lots of things in their environment. So I personally, I have a router in my bedroom. I turn it off every night so it's not running in the room where I'm trying to recover and rest. And then also a consistent sleep and wake time is super important. It's very tempting to want to sleep in the morning. But interestingly enough, the sleep time is, the time you go to bed is actually less important than waking up at the same time every morning. So even if you go to bed, try your best to wake up in the morning at your regular time. It will serve you well. Similar to, trying to get back onto a schedule after airplane travel or something like that. So you want to, I'm sorry, will you click again, please? There they are. Thank you so much. You want to get a comfortable, supportive mattress. I'm sure you've heard this before. We spend an inordinate amount of our lifetime in our bed. So we want to be comfortable, and you want to set yourself up to be able to go to sleep and to rest well. Also, an orthopedic or a contour pillow can be helpful, because if our heads are in an unnatural way, it can block our airflow. And this is a really great time to ask, be aware of maybe what your own habits are. You can ask if you sleep in a room with a partner, if anyone notices snoring, if wake up with dry mouth or a sore throat and you suspect that you're mouth breathing. These are some of the things that contribute to blocked airway, right? And blocked airway can indicate apnea, which is actually a major contributor to dementia and cognitive decline. When your brain is starved for oxygen at night, not only is it not getting the oxygen it needs, but it may also ask for a pop of adrenaline. If you go into that state where you're, I'm sorry, it's a really unattractive noise. But if you are stopping breathing and essentially dying just a little bit every night, you will wake up feeling exhausted. And some of that is that your body is struggling through the night to stay alive, right? We need a pop of adrenaline to help keep us going, or maybe we get a blood sugar spike, and then we're going to have to recover from that at some point before we wake up, and that takes its toll. So you can sleep on your side. Sometimes apnea is positional. You can obviously limit alcohol like we talked about. Treat your allergies. Don't just pop Benadryl every day. Try to figure out what is driving my allergies. Is it pollen? Is it food sensitivities? What is the connection? Sometimes journaling around these things, environmental, food, can really help us identify patterns. And that's something that I do in my work, is help people find the patterns of what is contributing to their disease dynamic. And then a weighted blanket is kind of a nice extra. For some people, that gentle pressure helps them to sleep. And clean, natural fiber linens obviously are going to keep you cooler. They're going to not trap heat into your bed, and you're going to wind up having a more comfortable sleep. So as I said, you want to create a bedroom that your brain knows it's safe to recuperate in. And on that note, we're going to move on to stress. We all have stress. What matters the most is, how do you handle stress? Okay, so how do you handle it so that it has the absolute least impact on your body and your brain? It's the body's natural response to a challenge or a demand, and a little bit of stress can actually be helpful, right? It helped me get here on time. It helped all of you get up and move through your day. It can sharpen our focus. It can motivate us. It can help us complete projects and things that we care about. But when it is consistent and chronic or heavy and overwhelming, it can start to take a toll on our immune system, on our mood, our energy, and of course, our overall health. Let's, next slide, please. Thank you. let's talk a little bit about how stress affects your body and your brain. So first, there's going to be a trigger or a stressor, right? And with age, our bodies start to react more intensely to these stressors. The effect on our health can become more toxic, right? And once we're triggered, our bodies can take a little bit longer to return to our baseline. So that's part of why that's important. After the trigger comes the cortisol rush, and these can become much stronger as we're getting older. The hypothalamus says to the pituitary and the adrenal glands, I need you to send me some cortisol to deal with this emergency, right? This cortisol surge, again, it can take us a while for, the cortisol doesn't just disappear. The body has to go through a biochemical process to turn it, to methylate it, to turn it into something else and to excrete it. So even though it's naturally occurring in the body, we still have to get rid of it, and that is an additional toll that we're putting on our bodies. Then comes the adrenaline. So this is the body saying, I need even more help. Again, I want to point out the cortisol, sorry, I'm just jump back for 1 second. Cortisol can be incredibly beneficial and helpful, but when we have too much, it starts to become toxic to our tissues and to our bodies. It can start to break things down in a way that's not healthy. So this is the main reason why we want to manage our stress. And then finally, adrenaline. The brain signals the body to release adrenaline in that fight or flight mode, whether it's a genuine emergency or it's a perceived emergency. And that's going to increase our blood flow and our blood pressure. And of course, again, it's going to take us a while to get back to baseline. And if we are having more inflammation, there's also, it increases our risk of having a stroke, right? If the blood pressure is having trouble regulating, if we're trying to get back to our baseline and we have repeated incidences, the body's going to have to build up the ability to get back to homeostasis. Okay, so older adults, here's the good news and the bad news. The good news is older adults are better at handling stress and avoiding stressful situations because you have life experience on your side. And so self-knowledge and the perspective of time, these things are skills that younger people do not have. So that's to our benefit, right? The bad news is that older adults are more prone to chronic stress. And it causes that repeated stress response that we're talking about can really cause a lot of wear and tear on the body. Okay, next slide, please.
Quick question.
Sure.
Can cortisol levels be tested in a blood test by your doctor?
Absolutely. The question is, can cortisol levels be tested by your doctor? Yes. And the really important thing to tell you, just in case your doctor doesn't, which they should, so chances are they will, you want to always have first, it needs to be fasting, and it should be really early in the morning, as early as you can get it and as close to the time that you wake up, because we're going to have a natural surge when we wake up, because that's what's going to help us get going and start into our day. And then it starts to drop a little bit through the day. We want to have a nice, healthy, we want to have healthy peaks and valleys and steady levels. So this is absolutely helpful to have tested. I also think it's really important for people at your annual visit to talk to your doctor about a thyroid screening, and not just the normal ones that they usually do, which just includes usually TSH, T4, sometimes reverse T3. But there's a lot going on in your thyroid, and a full thyroid panel will show, it shows what's actually happening. Because I could have a ton of T4, but T4 has to get converted into T3, which is the form that the body uses. So if your body is not making that conversion, then your thyroid's going to struggle and your overall everything is going to struggle. That's our powerhouse, right? That's where we're going to get all our energy from. So there's a number of, really simple labs that are occurring every year in our CBC and CMP that we can actually get pearls from and more information from. Just because our labs are within the range doesn't necessarily mean they're optimal. Okay. So, yes, question.
This is confusing what you just say, because we as seniors have to figure it out about stress and how to prevent it and how it affects us and how to prevent it. So when you go to a family or any doctor and you have your physical every year, how does the doctor know to do that? I was never asked to take these tests.
So the question is, how does your doctor know that these tests would be beneficial? And this is where I want to encourage you to advocate for yourself. Not only do you have this information now, but you can share this information with your friends. You can say, when I go in, if I'm feeling really sluggish, I'm going to ask my doctor, can I have a full thyroid panel, including antibodies, so that I know if my body is making antibodies and working against my thyroid? Also, I want to know my cortisol level. These are really important, more so if you're feeling super sluggish, right? If you're doing all the things and you feel like nothing has really changed, but suddenly the degree of fatigue or the degree of vitality that you have is falling, these are conversations I would absolutely have with your doctor, and I would push for it. Just say, I know this is part of a regular lab, and I don't think it would hurt to have a look at it. Advocate for yourself, and don't be afraid to push a little bit. Mm-hmm. That's what I would say. So on that note though, let's talk a little bit more about how we can mitigate and reduce our stress. The first thing we need to do is identify what it is that's stressing us out. If we're walking around kind of disengaged, we might not even realize what the actual stressor is. We might just be moving through the motions and trying to get through the day and not realize that the stressor is the job that we used to love that no longer serves us, or the relationship that we have that is really crying out for a boundary. We want to practice mindfulness in daily activities. We only get one go around. We want to have an opportunity to stop and just think, wow, I felt that breeze on my neck. I see that lilac bush exploding with like amazing scent. These are opportunities for you to really be alive, and they send signals to the body that everything is okay, and it helps us to regulate and stay in a non-sympathetic state, a parasympathetic state. We want to tell our body we're safe, everything's okay, we're not in fight or flight, we're in rest and digest, okay? We want to connect with our community. That's why it's amazing that you all are here today. Reach out to people in a faith-based community. Reach out to people in this community. Maybe you find this one, I think, is even more powerful. Find somebody to exercise with, because then you have that social piece at the same time that you have the exercise piece. And you're doing something that you both enjoy. And then even bigger bonus if it's a walk outside, because then you're managing your circadian rhythm. This one I love. This is the thing that I loved the most about my mother. My mother was a lifelong learner and stayed curious all the way up until her Alzheimer's diagnosis. She was in college at the time that it happened. Being curious means that we're always going to keep learning, right? We're going to challenge our brains to find something new. And maybe we don't even have to be good at it. In fact, I encourage you to do things you're not good at. It builds resilience and it's fun. Okay, so curiosity, like I said, and also service, being of service to other people, that's not to be undersold. It can give us purpose. It can give us meaning and a reason to get out of bed every day, right? I just had that moment where I realized I talk very fast, so I apologize. Hopefully, some of this is landing where it's meant to. So some techniques worth trying. We can try deep breathing, especially that box breathing, like I said, or just slow diaphragmatic breathing to calm the body. Yoga is a great way to stay flexible, to keep our muscles long and lean, and to also keep our bodies in a rest and digest state. And I think having a simple daily plan. So here's my challenge for you from a pragmatic standpoint. For 1 week, notice one stressor. Take 2 2-minute breathing breaks. Connect with one person. Do one helpful or enjoyable action every day, and then repeat. So that's sort of a way to bite off a little bit at a time and work it into your day in an easy way. Okay, so next slide, please. Stress management. These are just a couple of ideas, things that some people have tried. I just want to zero in on one, and I'm going to read you just a blurb of a boring study, and then I'll tell you what it means. In one study, researchers used a functional MRI in post-retirement adults. Half of them went through a 10-week art intervention, and the other half did not. The group that was exposed to the visual art intervention showed more functional connectivity in the frontal and parietal brain cortices, and it correlated with increased stress resistance. No such effects were observed in the group that did not have the art intervention. So the study is exciting because for the first time, we see the demonstration of the neural effect of visual art on psychological resilience. Okay, what does that mean? Art can change the brain. Don't be afraid if you can't paint or sculpt or write a song, or, you know, I mean, just, this is again where I would just encourage you to not be self-conscious, get out of your wheelhouse, try something new. It can change your life. Okay, so next slide is the wrap up. This is the part where I like to chuckle because I forgot to bring something. I always think that at a memory discussion, it's amusing if you forget to bring something. I made a little impromptu sign-up sheet at the back, and I would love to have you sign up if you're interested. We try our very best not to bombard you with, just timely communication about upcoming webinars, workshops, research, interviews, things like that. So if you're inclined, also, we will not share your information with anyone. The QR code goes to our website if you want to have a look there. And then at this point, I will open it up for questions, if you have any. Yes, sir.
Would you recommend all seniors to get an initial sleep study?
Would I recommend that all seniors get a sleep study? Well, your pulmonologist might not like me, but I would. I guess that might... Maybe not everyone, but I would say absolutely. If you're doing all the things, if you're getting into bed at a decent hour and you're practicing really good sleep hygiene and you're still waking up exhausted, I would encourage, because I had a client who was 80 years old, as thin as a rail, very small neck circumference. So she doesn't meet any of the criteria for someone who would traditionally have apnea. And she scored off the charts. Wow. And she has mild cognitive impairment. And we felt very fortunate to uncover that, because that could be absolutely a driver for her cognitive issues. So I think if you can get someone, a pulmonologist, or if your GP will do the study, I think they're great. And there are some places that will send you a gadget to put on your finger and all of the gadgets and the doohickeys and hook you up overnight for a home study. This is just my opinion, not endorsed by Sharp-A-Gain or anything. If they find something, they're just going to send you for a sleep study in-house anyway. So if you can get someone to cover an in-house sleep study, it might just save you time and effort. But yeah, breathing while you're asleep is good.
I have a question for you. I don't sleep well, and I'm doing all the things that you talk about that I shouldn't do. How difficult, if you did go for a sleep study or you went into a program, how difficult would it be for a person that's really on an age to change, to try to do all these things that we should be doing, that you've been doing for years?
So I think that's a really good question. Change is incredibly hard. That's the basis of all the work that I do. How do we change our food? How do we change our sleep habits? How do we change all of these things? I think the best way to do it is slowly, pragmatically, kindly, giving ourselves grace and compassion. I think it's picking one or two things that seem like they would have the most impact for you, and then really trying to find a way to follow through on them. Some of the things that work best for me, I use alarms for different things to remind me of stuff like, hey, turn off your phone, knucklehead, it's bedtime. Or I might have an accountability buddy who calls me and says, hey, did you exercise yet today? That's my business partner and I call each other every day or text each other every day. Did you get it in? Did you get it done? I also try to change the language that I'm using around things I don't want to do. And I know that, you know, for some people it's just semantics, but I say to myself, I get to, not I have to. I have had a hip replacement. I need another hip replaced. I'm a young person. I want my hips to keep going. You know, instead of saying, I got to exercise today, I'm like, I get to exercise. I'm still moving. I'm still going. And, you know, the fact that you're all here, you still got it going. So try to find a couple of things, you know, so that you're not overwhelmed. Because I think overwhelm is the biggest problem. It makes us feel like we're just spinning our wheels.
Do we have any more questions? Oh, we have one here.
Yes, sir.
About the thyroid, if you find out there are issues, what's the corrective action? Is it drugs or what?
So if you find out you have a thyroid issue, what is the next course of action? I would say you would discuss it with your GP, who would probably have some guidance, and then possibly they might send you to an endocrinologist. It depends on what the issue is. If you're hypothyroid or you're hyperthyroid, sometimes you can use supportive herbs or supplements. You might not necessarily have to use a pharmaceutical medication. Sometimes just fixing the gut can bring the body back to homeostasis, and then the thyroid starts to work again properly because everything in the body is getting what it needs. Anybody else? I'm sorry, did that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
We have a question over here.
I have a question about sleeping. Some people recommend taping of your mouth.
Big fan.
A lot of people told me to do that during the day.
Sure. Oh, wow, me too. We should talk later. Too much. So the question was about whether or not there's benefit for mouth taping. I know for some people that it has made a world of difference, and there's even if you in fact wind up having breathing problems in your sleep, there's a number of things you can do. I started out with a CPAP. I have mild obstructive apnea. And so I started out with a CPAP. It was like waking up with Darth Vader every day. The mask would fall off in the middle of the night. They'd be like, and I could never manage to keep it on my face. I don't know what I'm doing when I'm sleeping. But luckily, I had a mild enough case that they were able to create an oral appliance. So some people can go to like a dental sleep center, and they can give you an oral appliance that shifts your jaw forward and increases the airway, and then that solves that problem. So with the mouth taping, it encourages more nasal breathing. It's also going to be really good for your teeth. People who mouth breathe have more dental problems, and also, yeah. So it can help with, I think, increasing your airway just over time. It can be a little uncomfortable to begin with, but my husband and I used to both do it. And as you said, you know, he was like, feel free to keep that on during the day. That'll be all right with me. Yes? Is there a special type of tape that you would use? There is, you know, some people are not super sensitive about it and just use kind of like medical tape you would find in a first aid kit, but I would not necessarily recommend starting there. You can find stuff on, although I discourage you, I don't want to say Amazon, but it's probably the easiest place to find it, or a nearby local health food store, or medical supply, possibly. Any other questions? I just want to say thank you so much for your attention. I hope I didn't race through things too much or take too much of your time. Thank you for.
And did you leave any brochures at the table there? Do we have any brochures?
There wasn't anything specific that I brought with me today, but the pens are there. Please sign up, and I do have there's a handout in the back that's some basic, not super overwhelming things you can do that will support your brain health.
Okay.
Is there anything online?
Oh, there's tons of stuff online. So you can go to sharpagain.org, and we have a ton of resources. And the YouTube channel shows a lot of our presentations from the past, as well as interviews with experts in the field.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Amy, very much. AB, thank you. Also, I'd like to thank Wendy McNamara as well. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Our next speaker is Jim Monterano. He is the Yorktown Parks and Recreation Director. He's going to talk to us and take questions from the audience. Please join. Welcome, Jim, please.
What a great speaker. I took a sleep study about 10 years ago. It changed my life for the better. I also use a CPAP, and I've had a lot of success. It's not as awkward as she made it seem. It's very comfortable, and I can actually breathe at night, and it's really changed how I live my life day to day. So certainly recommend to get rid of the stigma, have a sleep study, and live a healthier life. But with that being said, let's get into some Parks and Rec stuff. Okay. On May 5th, we got a very important day. We have our pool signups. Our senior discount this year is 60 to 64 will be $46. 65 to 69 is $26. And if you're 70 and above living in the town of Yorktown, your pool pass is free. Now, just because it's free doesn't mean you don't have to get a pass. You still have to come to the office and prove that you're a resident with a license or a piece of mail or a driver's registration, something of that sort, to prove that you're still currently a resident in the town. Another big announcement, many seniors have asked for this. AAA is hosting with the town of Yorktown a defensive driving class for adults and seniors. That's going to take place June 13th. From 9 to 4 p.m. You can sign up for this program in my office. It's the senior discount is $40, and for all adults, it's $50. So please stop by the office and sign up for that before all the spots run out. Also, I forgot to mention.
Excuse me, where is that going to be?
It's going to be at the community center,
At the community
Albert A. Cappellini Culture and Community Center. That is the first one we've done since I've been here. So once every 5 years. I'm kind of joking, but hopefully we'll do it annually. That'd be the hope.
Because the driver training for your insurance is every 3 years.
Yeah. The question was, how often do we do it? We've tried to do this class for many years. The recommendation would do it at least once every 3 years. I'd like to do it annually. So now that we have a relationship with AAA, hopefully we'll do this annually.
Wonderful.
But good question.
Good news.
Yes, absolutely. Also, I forgot to mention with the pools, we do have senior swim hours, seniors only, at the pools this year. That's going to be at Brian J. Slavin at Shrub Oak Park, Tuesdays and Thursdays from 10:30 to 12, and that's going to be from June 30th to August 13th. And at Junior Lake Facility, we'll have Monday, Wednesday, Fridays from 10 a.m. to 12. And unfortunately, because of camp, that's a shorter window. That's only going to be August 3rd through August 14th. We have some senior programs this summer that are available for signups right now. Senior Dance and Exercise, which will start on June 26th. That is available. That's on Fridays. Forever Fit is taking place on Fridays as well. That starts on the 26th. We have our knitting club that is currently started but continues year-round. You can sign up for. We have our senior line dancing. That's on Wednesdays, and that's currently running, but there's still more room. And our senior yoga class, which will start July 20th. So there's still room in those summer programs that we'd love you to sign up for. Another big class that we have coming up, we have our pickleball clinics. So anyone that's looking to start playing pickleball or they have played, we have a number of clinics starting in early May. So registration is currently going on for that. So please stop by the office, take a look at all the different clinics that we're hosting, and sign up because we need more seniors to sign up for these wonderful pickleball classes. We have so many of them. I think it's about 15 different classes and clinics that we're doing this spring. Okay. We also have 2 events coming up from the County of Westchester. We have the Salute to Seniors event. That's on May 7th, and that is from 9:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. at the County Center. You're not going to want to miss that. All the different organizations that work with seniors will be at that event. They'll also be giving you free lunch. You can find out more information on that event at westchestergov.com/seniors.
Jim, could I interrupt you on that for a second? You know, there are many seniors here that would love to go to that. Is there any possible way that we could have a bus from here take us? Because, number one, quite a few of us can't drive there, and if we do, that parking is horrible. And is there any way that we could get a bus to take seniors down if they would like to go, like have a sign-up sheet if they're interested?
I really love that idea. That would be a great question for the town supervisor and Noreen O'Driscoll. I hate to pass the buck there, but Noreen with the nutrition program does a great job with the senior transportation. That's something that she controls and has the ability to do. But I think something like this would be a great opportunity to utilize, but I'm not sure what's needed on that specific day because she manages the nutrition program
Right.
that manages the van. So
Because there's so many people, including myself, that
Yeah.
would, I mean, I used to go to it all the time, but I can't any longer. I don't drive that far. And there are many people, I think, that would love to go.
that's an outstanding idea.
So should I check with?
I generally do go to that.
Microphone.
They usually ask for like a $4 donation for the lunch, so I just looked it up and they're doing that again. But if you don't have it, sometimes they'll let you through, but usually you have to call and reserve the lunch. It's a
Yeah,
process.
Well, you know, we would have to get down there first to.
Yeah, well, no, it is a now, if they come with the senior group, because I've watched other senior groups do it, that coordinator will usually call ahead, and then they bring the box lunches to them.
Right.
I go as a solo act. 'cause I'm
Well, I was
not,
just
you know,
wondering
walking
how we-
around, but I've
how-
watched that happen.
I was just wondering, who do we go to first to initiate this? Because
But you have
just
to
as a
reserve
raise
the
of hands here, would anybody
right here.
here like to go to that? I've been there and it's very interesting, loads of stuff.
Yeah, so
But
I'll talk to Noreen and maybe Ed and see what we can
Yeah.
do about it.
Okay, thank you.
And then just to add, and this is where it's a $4 contribution for
Right.
the lunches. Saxon Woods Pool Party and Barbecue, that's going to be on June 17th, another county event that we would need some help to take a bus down.
Yeah, and even, you know, even if we had to do a slight donation to go by bus, I think people would be interested in
it'd
doing that.
certainly be worth it.
So they
You have
don't
to reserve the lunches by April 24th.
Okay.
Okay.
No.
We have a question over here, Jim.
Jim, is there any way that we can kind of pay for a bus? In other words, rent our own bus? But I would be interested in calling up, but which bus company would I call to ask them?
The bus company is an interesting thing. They are very expensive nowadays, so I wouldn't necessarily recommend that off the jump. And the way your town usually does the buses, it's the senior clubs that organize buses, and I don't know if that's going to get the type of interest that some of these other senior trips get. But you'd probably looking on an average at least $50 a person if you went with the coach bus.
Well, check
But
with
I have a
Ed.
number of companies that we utilize, so if you wanted to
Okay.
have that discussion, I could help you with that.
Yeah, check with Ed and Noreen and see what they can do for us first.
Yeah,
If
absolutely.
there's anything in the budget, and then we could give a slight donation if it would help to get us there.
A quick question, just thought about it. Can we rent school buses?
I was just going to ask that.
Because it's not a very far,
I wouldn't recommend school buses for
No.
anyone over the age of 18.
Oh.
But sure, yes, it is possible.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, we have companies right here in Yorktown, yes.
Excuse me.
Who
If
do I
we,
call?
we're going to rent a school bus, this is just, hyper. Would we go through the school? Would we go through Ed? Would we go through the?
No,
bus
there's a number of
company?
companies that the town uses for school busing,
Yes, yes.
and I have those numbers, so.
Good, I'll
So
be calling you.
you're going to really tell Jenny how we're going to do this, and then we're going to
Yeah,
either do it on our
I
own.
think her initial idea of using the town-owned mini vans through the nutrition program would be the best practice, opposed to
I
a
would
school
like
bus.
to leave it up to you, what
Yeah.
I said in the beginning. Whichever way you could do it, if it can be done, start from the cheapest on down, and then we'll take it from there.
Sure,
This-
absolutely.
we don't want a whole bunch of people working on it.
I would love to work with Noreen on
Thank you.
getting this
Okay.
happen. So some other events, I know Ed spoke about it earlier. The Battle of Pines Bridge is taking place over at right here at Town Hall at 10 a.m. And then they're going to be doing a war reenactment, a Revolutionary War reenactment at Railroad Park. That's on May 2nd. So that the festivities will be from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. If you're not here initially at 10 a.m. by 11, just go to Railroad Park where they'll be doing the reenactment. There'll be vendors there. It's going to be a lot of fun on May 2nd. Like Ed mentioned before, over on on Veterans Road at Jack DeVito Veterans Field, they'll be having Fam Jam. It's a family concert for everyone in the family,
17.
seniors and kids alike. A lot of great music,
That's
a lot of great vendors, and that will be taking place from, I believe, 12 to 4 on the May the 9th. We have cardio drumming. Thank you to our sponsor here, Northern Westchester Restorative Therapy. So we're having the signups go on right now. There's limited space in that. That's May 14th. So jump in the cardio drumming class. It's a lot of fun. All the seniors that have done it have really enjoyed it. It's been great. And then for all of you America 250 folks, want to check out some more things, Rochambeau Fest is taking place June 6th and 7th, and that's going to be at the Grange Fairgrounds, and that's from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. So you're going to want to check that event out as well. That's all the news I have for you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Our parks are second to none. Beautiful parks. You're doing a great job in the parks, Jimmy.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Jim, very much.
Thank you. I think Noreen has a few things that she'd like to speak about.
Hello, everybody. I'm Noreen Parrell, and I just wanted to let you know we're still in the planning and executing stage. The Yorktown Senior Advisory Committee and the Town of Yorktown is going to implement a senior discount program. So we're going to go around to the shops, and they're going to get an application. And if they want to join the program, they're going to have this decal sticking on their window. So if you know any shop owners, and it's retail mostly, let us know. I'm doing this with Sergio, so you can reach out to me or Sergio, and we can get the application to them. Any questions on that? Thank you.
Thank you, Norman. Thank you. Are there any questions today or suggestions? Or there are suggestion cards out in the hallway. If you have suggestions for our organization, we'd love to hear them.
And we have a box for you if you don't want to talk about it. Just put it in the box that we have out there. We would appreciate any suggestions you have on anything that you might want us to look into for you, and we'll try and help you.
Okay.
Aside from that, we
Thank
wish
you.
you all a great weekend.
Next
Hopefully
meeting,
the weather
May
will
15th, next meeting.
hope. And again, I want to thank Amy for our great lunch again today.
Next meeting.
Did you?
Next month.
Joe, you have,
Just want to say that our next meeting will be Friday, May 15th.
Yes. Okay, thank you
Okay.
very much.
that concludes our program. Thank you.
Say nobody second.
Jenny.